This video combines two things that I find super fascinating: Padre Pio and guardian angels. Because there's some really interesting letters that Padre Pio wrote to his spiritual directors explaining his relationship with his guardian angel, and I've never really heard anything like this before. On November 5th, 1912, Padre Pio wrote a letter to Father Agostino describing a particularly difficult spiritual struggle that he was going through. So he tells Father Agostino that he called upon his guardian angel for help, but according to Padre Pio, his angel didn't come right away, and Padre Pio wasn't very happy about that. He actually wrote in his letter that when the angel finally did appear, Padre Pio scolded him for making him wait so long. And I just think that's hilarious, because here's Padre Pio yelling at his guardian angel, and then he goes on to say that he refused to look at his guardian angel and even tried to get away from him. But then he described the angel following after him, and the angel reassuring him that he was always near him. And that wasn't the only time that he wrote about his guardian angel, because a little more than a month later, on December 13th, Padre Pio wrote another letter to Father Agostino, because this time he believed that the devil had been interfering with letters that were sent to him by his spiritual director. So Padre Pio wrote that his guardian angel told him to sprinkle one of the letters with holy water before he opened it. Padre Pio did this, and according to the letter that he wrote, Padre Pio was then able to read it, which there's another strange detail in here, because Padre Pio mentions he was able to read it even though it was written in languages that he hadn't really learned. In a follow-up letter on September 20th, he told Father Agostino that his guardian angel must have a particularly difficult assignment, because not only does he have to act as his guardian, but he also has to act as a teacher in explaining other languages. Now, I think it's really important that we sort of stop here and distinguish the difference between Padre Pio's account of his guardian angel and what the church actually teaches, because the church canonized Padre Pio as a saint, but that doesn't necessarily turn like every extraordinary experience he described into Catholic doctrine, because Catholics aren't required to believe that their guardian angel will appear to them or speak audibly to them or translate letters for them. But the church does teach in the Catechism, paragraph 336, that from infancy until death, human life is surrounded by the watchful care and intercession of the angels. It then quotes St. Basil the Great as saying, "Beside each believer stands an angel as protector and shepherd, leading him to life." So the basic idea behind Padre Pio's devotion wasn't unusual for Catholic teaching, because the church really does teach that angels protect, intercede for, and accompany human beings. But what was unusual was the way that Padre Pio said he had experienced that relationship. And I think one of the really interesting pieces of this is that Padre Pio had such a great relationship with his guardian angel that he would affectionately refer to his guardian angel as his little companion. And he would write about waiting for his guardian angels so that they could praise God together. And I think it's just a very different way of seeing guardian angels, because they're sometimes presented as what I'd say is almost like a childhood Catholic idea. But for Padre Pio, his guardian angel was very much a big part of his adult spiritual life. And, he wrote about his angel as being that protector and a companion and someone he'd call upon during those spiritual struggles. And according to his own testimony, this was someone with whom he had extraordinary interactions. And I think what makes this most interesting is knowing where that line is, because Padre Pio's letters tell us what St. Padre Pio had experienced. The Catechism tells us what the Catholic Church actually teaches, and it's not really the same level of claim, because we don't have to prove that every extraordinary detail of St. Padre Pio's experience will happen to ordinary Catholics for that underlying belief to be real, because the Catechism's claim is much simpler, that our lives are surrounded by the care and intercession of angels from beginning to end. If this video was inspiring to you at all, if you learned anything, please make sure to give this video a like. And if you know anybody that would love to hear this video and learn about St. Padre Pio or guardian angels, please share that video with them. And let us know in the comments section if you've ever had any experience with your guardian angel, or if you have any great Padre Pio stories or prayers. Let us know in the comments section. And if you're new to Inspired Catholics, please make sure to click that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so that you get notified every time there's a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and may God bless you and your families.